Komarna. Now we're going to do a little Komarna on Parshas Bo. The Parshas talks about the mitzvah of Peter Chamor, right? You have to either you free, you're podeh, you redeem a firstborn donkey, or Sparafto, you do arifah, you kill it. Right? She said, spiritually speaking, this donkey, Chamor, is from the of Chumrius. It's a machshava that's not such a good machshava. So this is something, I like this piece very much, especially because, again, he goes very close to Rav Nosson in a certain way. Rav Nosson also says this, and Degel Machar Ephraim says in many places, this idea of that dealing with machshavas, it depends who you really are. On the one hand, when you deal with machshavas, when I deal with machshavas, I have to know, sometimes the machshava is, again, it's tickling the part of me that's the half behema, and it's not good for me. It's very spiritually unwholesome and unhealthy for me. So I have to throw those machshavas out right away. Toss them. The Rambam says, and Nachman brings us also in the Seven Midas, when you're not thinking about it, it comes to you in a minute, it goes away. It's not. You're not obligated for it. It's not your problem. You have to just move on. So, on the one hand, you have this bechina of a person where it's not good for him. On the other hand, you have a bechina where a person sees Hashem and it helps him figure out. Hashem talks about this in a lot of places. This idea, it helps him figure out. He sees what needs to be fixed in the Shechina. He has to be podeh the chamor, or he has to break it. That's how the Komarna explains. Which bechina do you have to do? The bechina of the right. You have he says that tzaddik can be podeh also. He said by a tzaddik you have a bechina. So he's a bechina that's called the seh. He can be podeh an aspect of this chumri, this machshava. You can podeh. He said you have to understand where do you bring your machshavas and what to do with it. Generally speaking, these machshavas, the person who's not a bechina of a tzaddik, so you just got to run away from it, get rid of it, break it, and finish. And that's this bechina. So again, the I think it was the Rav Armi Bells maybe. He says, "Right, meleches machshavas asur Torah." On Shabbos, we have a rule that thinking about the malacha, like having the intent to do the malacha in your thoughts, that's what the Torah prohibited. Doing it thoughtlessly, without meaning it, is not what the Torah was talking about. This Asik person backs into a light switch. He didn't think in any way, so he turned it on, backs, and he forgot Shabbos. He forgot it's Asur on Shabbos. Fine. Reflexively, Rav Yashiv time is also maybe could be he was shogeg. You should know Shabbos and not do it reflexively. Fine, okay, but the person backs into a light switch. Was no melech machshavas. Zero intent to open that light. He walked by a light, it flipped on. What happened there? It's okay, maybe in terms of deeper places, it could be it's a pgam or whatever. But like the ma'isa, meleches machshavas also Torah. So the same thing when a person meleches machshavas also means the malacha of machshava. Making a malacha out of machshava, making the machshava into like a kind of labor, belaboring it. That's what the Torah prohibited. He used it as a play on words. The Torah prohibited. The Torah didn't prohibit that a thought comes in and he throws it right. A person throws it out, he starts thinking something else. We know Nachman very much focused on this idea of you cannot entertain two thoughts at once in your head unless you're trained. Fine. If you're trained, it's fine. You have special training, fine. But usually you're going to have a tremendous mastery over your thought processes if you're trained. So you're doing great, right? So the person who's trained, fine, great. Generally speaking, a person can't hold two thoughts. And we have this, maybe we'll learn it in Parshas Chukas, maybe we'll talk about it in the Ma'aseh. Paraduma, there's such a thing that he's not allowed to think. We see clearly that in the Rambam and the Rav, it's very clear that this is a halachic principle as well. You can't, and we see this. You're not supposed to have two things in mind. You're not supposed to say, "Oh, I'm listening to learning and I'm davening and I'm listening to learning." You have to listen to learning. You're not supposed. You can't think two things. If you're doing it, you're thinking half thoughts, halfway, both things. It's not real. Okay, so maybe we'll talk about it then. This idea of like where and how do we see this? But the Ma'aseh, even halacha, we see this idea that really you're not supposed to have two thoughts at the same time. When you say lishma and shelo lishma, it means usually in the action. Now you have a lishma thought, and then you have a lo lishma. Not lishma and shelo lishma at the same time. Not generally speaking, you have a thought. It's a particular thought. That's the way it works. So what that means practically is you just need to think something else. The person has one thought, he thinks something, he has a train of thought, it moves on to the next thought. The next one, just don't look back. Just goes right out of it. Eventually, a person's zochit, so you have to know if you're on the level, already you're on the bechin of the seh, that you can be podeh, these inyanim, can I do it, can't I do it? Like, sometimes your thoughts will give you a clue into who you really are and help you figure out it for yourself. That's also a bechina. So you have to know for yourself where I'm holding, how I'm holding. We have to understand that we can't necessarily, very often a person can't necessarily try to uplift these thoughts. He's not really on the level And that's what Nassim really says. When Nassim says this idea that in the Parsha we see that you can't have chametz. He says you can't have chametz, right? You can't see your chametz. A guy comes to your house with chametz, you're less. You can't say, you're in my house with a sandwich? No, none of us see it. Can't be here. No, I see it, not a problem. Don't eat it. If you don't eat it, you can't eat it at the same time at the table with him because it could, even if the littlest bit goes in, it's also, so you have to be very careful. People on planes who are traveling on the Pesach have to wear your kriyas. Tainaz, if you're sitting on a plane and you have a guy sitting 5 seats away from you, and he's eating chametz, it's already called, you're not allowed to eat them. Because you can get, a little bit could get it, for whatever way, somehow, can get into your thing. It's too close. A mashu is a mashu, it's not pashit. So that's the problem. So, mitzad echad, the chametz itself is not prohibited to be in my house when he has it. Because he said that's this idea of the maisa, the machshava, when you have this negative machshava, it's chametz, right? It blows a person up. It makes him, instead of being simple like the matzah, he's thought for us to go out of bounds. He's not in a good place. So I have to have this place. I have to have this thing of like chametz. I have to know the guy's chametz is not the chametz that comes in from somewhere. It's not really mine. It's external to me. That's not problematic. Just get rid of it. Whatever. It's not yours. You're not us, mamash. You have to wherever we go, move on. If it's yours, if you make it yours, if you bring it part of it, you internalize it. That's no good. You have to move on. But it's not that itself is not mamash aser. He says you have to learn how to really refocus, keep your focus and your thoughts on something else. Think about something else. Keep thinking about something else. That's what Nassim explains in this Inyan. Right? You don't let your thought be preoccupied with these things. So don't look at it. Don't pay attention to it. Just think about it. Something else is going to go right out. Whatever it may be. So that's the rule with machshava. That's how it works. And really, this is a fantastic eitzah, tremendous strategy for overcoming negative thoughts. And negative thoughts about other people. It's a matter of really just getting used to like paying attention to your thoughts and like moving on when it's not a good thought. Trying to change it to positive, trying to change it to a better or a different type of place to think. So that's two little concepts in the parasha about pidyon, right, Peter Chamor, and also about how the Yisroel comes a little bit of the deeper things about these inyan and what they are. Okay, so I think we're done with the Komarna now. Hashem.